Hi, I'm an OBG. This is live. I'm not actually ready. I'm a few minutes away, but I just wanted to hit 8 o'clock because this is likely to be my very first live show, and I just wanted to hit it on time. Say, right, at least the first show went out at 8 o'clock on the button, even if I fail, which I won't. So, bear with me a second. Split. Okay. Hi, Mick, Dan, Mark, Ray. Right. So I'm just going to kick straight off. There's a couple of topics that I want to talk about tonight. And thanks very much to Lindsay K. McCarthy Calvert. Lindsay K. McCarthy Calvert. Because I needed something to punctuate the very last story of the show. And Lindsay's a superwoman. I actually phoned her. She was driving to the supermarket with her kids. She stops her car, gets out, and she done me the favour. So you'll hear that at the end of the show. Right, so what else do I need to be done here? That phone just rang. I put it silent. Hello, Debbie. Right, so before I start, I just want to say this is going to be a show about the people, by the people, for the people, and it can work if you contribute. So please send your stories, things that you want me to cover, images, videos, or your music to obgchat@gmail.com, and together we can do this. And once again, the aim is to create a show that grows until we have regular viewers that we can pull away from the mainstream for 10 minutes every day, and that would be our measure of success. Getting there. I'll have this all smooth in a few weeks, and don't forget.
Tell you are the producer of the show. I just wanna know.
Right, I'm the OBG. So the first topic I want to talk about tonight really is about being yourself, and always be yourself. Never be someone else. Don't pretend to like something that you don't like, and don't consider anyone a friend who you can't be yourself around. And you've got to live your life as you are and not as others think they want you to be. And that's really, really important. Words can be shallow. It's easy to say words. And I think if you meet me in person and you know my character, I'm not perfect and I'm not claiming to be, but you know that I have some integrity, and the words that I talk about, it's the way that I live my life, the way that I follow. And it's possible for all of us. But this really boils down to confidence, which I'll get back to in a moment. So first of all, I want to talk about how we present ourselves on social media. And presenting ourselves can be difficult at times. But I was always a show-off. And I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. But what it done, it gave me confidence because, as a child, I always put myself front and centre. And in doing so, I took whatever flack came, and I also, like the admiration, but I was never blind, with the narcissism to think, oh, I was just funny, or I was doing well, or I was the best in a group. I love pulling people together, and I had to be confident to do that. So I always had to present myself, and I didn't care what I looked like. That was the most important thing. So I was talking to a friend of mine just day before yesterday, a school friend. The last time I actually saw her, Beth, we were 16 years old, and she's just grown into this amazing woman. And we had this talk, and it was about presenting ourselves. And Beth's boldness, this story's funny, when she was 15, she wanted to, at school, she wanted to present something about racism. So she got up in front of the school, she done this poem that she wrote, and then she stripped off down to her knickers. Now, I don't want to go that far, and I don't think Beth wants to do that again. I don't think the 15-year-old body's still there. She's looking good, mind you. But presenting yourself, if you start doing that really early, then the confidence comes as you get older. The problem I see, and this is Facebook, I'm going to talk about in the main, and then a little about the other one, which I just started using, Instagram. Hello, Joe. Lindsay, thanks. Debbie and Tom. it's how we present ourselves. Now, Facebook's become really toxic. Facebook's become a place where we hide behind our avatar and we hide behind this image. You could say the most obscure thing to somebody on Facebook. You could say to someone, oh, yeah, you know, like I've read a book about Patagonian peasant, you know, sheep farmers and how they view, you know, socio-economic, you know, pressures in Russia. And someone else just lies and says, oh, yeah, I've read that too. And then if you go a little deeper, which I don't tend to, but sometimes if I grill them, you can see that they're making it up. Now, it's not just about being intelligent and presenting yourself. Mind you, I haven't read any books on Patagonian peasant farmers, but I do use it as an example often. People are not being themselves on social media. They're hiding behind this facade, and we all do it. Like, I'm not the Cedric that you know on Facebook as I am in real life. I'm kind of awkward and shy at times if you see me in real life, but inside there's a confidence which is supreme. So I can present myself when I have to, and I can always go to where the trouble is. I've got the kind of mannerisms of a really easygoing, soft guy, but I'm a man and I can fight. So, and it's not about fighting, but at the end of the day, you know, we're controlled by force, we're ruled by force, we tend to look up to the toughest guys and so on, the alpha male, and in any kind of pack or group, as males anyway, you have to be able to fight or you're going to be picked up upon. So everyone wants to be a tough guy on Facebook. Everyone presents themselves as a tough guy. The women, they present themselves as pretty all the time. Yet, and I'm not talking about everybody when I make these comments, but when I look at my female friends and other females who present themselves to me on Facebook, they've got the soft filters on, they've got a photo that says, oh, look at my new jeans. But, you know, really it's about the arse that they've been buffing up at the gym, or, you know, how the breast is still looking good at 40 years old and so on. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if we were more honest about it, then we can all be more accepting of each other, because we just simply show that arse, show those tits, show those biceps, guys, show that chest, because that's what you want to do. But we have so much pressure, because if somebody's doing well, or if somebody's excelling in what they're doing, then we tend to want to bring them down. Not me personally. I love achievement. I don't care what you do. If you're playing the harmonica, if you're doing handstands in the high street, I'm there clapping, because I think it's important that we all present ourselves. But Facebook has turned us into these fake identities, and success isn't about holding a champagne flute or drinking a beer in a nice club. Yet we all do this. You know, oh yeah, life's great, and guaranteed 80% of your friends' photos which say, oh yeah, life's great, is of them holding a wine glass. No one's saying, oh, life's great, and there's an image of them helping an old lady across the street, or the fact that they went to their next door neighbour's house and helped them with their chores. And that's not actually virtue signalling. Virtue signalling, to me, is a form of jealousy, once again. People see that, it goes on, don't get me wrong, I'm aware of it, but people see that someone's being successful and doing stuff and helping people, and then they start presenting a video, and everyone says, "Oh, this guy's virtue signalling." Personally, I do what I like. I'll post a video of me with my with my nappy head. I'll present a video. I've got a video of me naked, actually, but I've decided not to do it in the end. Not because I'm embarrassed, but just to protect your eyes. And we have to be able to be confident to present ourselves in whatever we do and stop hiding behind these fake things. So the reason it's becoming toxic is simply because we're fighting each other. We're contesting each other. We're contesting what each other does. We're not trying to support each other in what they're doing, and we want to be the best. We want to be the sole champion of our story. And this has been the theme of Hollywood ever since we were children, the lone hero. And it's kind of really deep into our psyche, and we want to be that lone hero. And if someone like me, for instance, asks someone to join you on a campaign or a pursuit, they'll come part of the way, but really they just want to see if you are going to be successful immediately, and they'll stay on board. But if they don't think you're going to be successful, then they'll go and they'll try and either find someone else because they're bottom feeders, or they're going to try and pursue their own project. And what happens is you both go off at half steam and you have some success. If you join together, you know, can you imagine the success you can have? And for instance, can I just say the name Joe, who just came on, who was the owner of the longest running underground rave in the UK, Club Labyrinth in Dalston, which I attended regularly, and actually became friends with Joe and his wife. He understands this. He knows that he had to fight to build that club. I mean, he's one of the strongest men I know. And just like me, Joe's small, he's slight, but I wouldn't fight him with 10 of my friends. He knows what it's like. He had to build a team to get that club. He needed doormen. He needed security inside. He needed bar staff. He needed, people to support him on those tough days. This is me making assumptions, but I've seen the team and I've seen the success of the place. It's not easy. And I want to build something here as well, but not as me. I want to build it with you. And I have the confidence. If you've got the confidence and the faith in me, come on board. So, gaining confidence isn't easy. As I said earlier, confidence is something that typically comes from a young age because you get experience. And you can get confidence if you work at it. If you work really hard at being confident, then it comes like anything else. There's people there, some of you, you're artists, you're musicians, your accountants, your bankers, whatever you do. But you wasn't born with that skill. You learned that skill, you became good at it and you studied. And it's the same with confidence, because if you ever forfeit the confidence of your peers, then you'll begin to struggle to regain their respect. And once people have confidence in you, it's very hard for them to lose it, unless, of course, you commit a deeply treasonous act against those people. And the confidence and respect from others has to be earned. There's so many people that simply ask for it and they expect it. And you often hear people say, no, trust me. Or they'll ask you why you don't have confidence in them. And you have to learn to to tell those people that confidence is earned. It isn't simply given. And in order for you to be more confident, there's two things that I've done all my life and I still do. And the first one, and it's going to sound strange, is to put yourself in awkward positions. Put yourself in awkward situations. And I have to keep talking about me, I'm afraid, because it's only my experience I know. Everything I say about anyone else is a guess, an assumption, or they've told me, and I have that permission. But when I was in Nicaragua, I was in a hostel, and there was this guy there, and we just got on. He was really cool. He was about 35, 36, but he was about 6'5", big guy, but he was very, very shy. So I said to him, watch this. And we walked past the snooker club, and in the snooker clubs in Nicaragua, you've got some kind of shady-looking characters. I just walked in, walked through everyone, walked to the bar. He didn't know what I was doing. He waited outside. And I walked back out again, and he said, what did you just do? And I said, I just put myself in an awkward situation. I said, now, these bars have got a bad reputation. I said, what I did is, I know where we're going, but I walked into the bar, and I asked the barman where a particular place was, a place we were actually heading for, but we knew already. And I said, in order to do that, I had to walk into this bar, through all those guys playing snooker and the others sitting down, and I had to quickly learn my environment. I didn't want to walk in like a bad man. I didn't want to walk in timid. I had to quickly try and adjust myself as I got in there, and I made it to the bar, felt confident, and I had to do the same on the way out. But in doing that, I thought, wow, I pulled it off, and it makes me feel confident. It grows my confidence. And I think if you keep on doing that, I'm not talking about going into bars with tough guys, but if you walk into places where you would normally feel awkward, keep doing it. And you get that sweat, you're sweating underneath your shirt, you're getting the sweat, running down your face, your forehead, and you feel afraid. But the more you do it, trust me, then the fear goes away. And you'll soon be able to put yourself forwards all the time. And it's just a case of practice making perfect. And the more you practice, the better you get at it. It's not about being perfect, to be honest. Perfect's an ideology. But you get much better at it. And the most daring thing is to be yourself and to do exactly what you want to do and at that point in time. And you mustn't be worried with what other people are doing or what's popular. It's easier said than done, but perseverance in any pursuit brings its rewards, and you can do it. So, once again, the aim is to create a show that grows until we have regular viewers that we can pull away from the mainstream for 10 minutes every day, and that would be our measure of success.
A show about the people.
And don't forget,
For the people. You are the producer of the show.
plus you get your names in the credits, and that's what life's all about. You want your name in credits somewhere, don't you? So, I want to talk about climate change. I'm not going to go too hard on it. If I'm talking too fast, can someone let me know? because when I'm excited, I go a bit too fast. And also, I'm having a little difficulty, I won't go naked back, reading some of your comments. Like Shana just said, nobody wants to show when they're broke and depressed, but she's all for connecting and empowering people. And Shana, I've only met her about maybe 10 times in my life, but I believe her and I know her words, because the very first time I met her, she had no interest in me per se as such, but she was going to another illegal rave and she had a space in her car and she offered me a seat in there to take me to this party. And I hadn't known her before that. I think we just spoke a little bit on that night. So I know she's a woman who believes in connecting people, and I've had the benefit of that. Thanks, Shana. So Greta Thunberg, or Thunberg, she suddenly disappeared. We had all this climate change hoo-ha going on. And don't get me wrong, I'll get to why I do believe it's important, and now it's disappeared. So with Greta Thunberg, we were presented with the story of this 15-year-old schoolgirl that single-handedly protested outside her school. And she was found by this guy, or it's claimed that she was found by this guy, but it turns out that he's the head of the PR company that's behind her and her parents. So Greta, she's a daughter of the famous opera singer and liberal left-wing activist Marlene Ernman, and she's part of the team that helped her daughter get started. And Greta also had her own coach, and her coach was a well-known climate activist from Germany who's called Louisa Marie Neubauer, and she belongs to the One Foundation. And the One Foundation has several well-known wealthy financiers, including Bono, Bill Gates, and Melissa Gates, and the name on everybody's lips, the multi-billionaire oligarch who's George Soros. Hello, John, Keith, Andrew, Brian Hayes, and Jason, and Danny Smith. So I won't be saying hello to people in future. As I said, I'll just have to get on and talk and get that flow. So George Soros, and we often forget that billionaires are just people. They get pushed to celebrity status and are often revered for their wealth. And we automatically assume that they're deep-thinking philosophical people and that they understand world politics and economics. And this is simply not the case. For me, and this is a very personal opinion because I don't know the guy, but I've followed him ever since he came into the public eye because I was an IT person. Bill Gates is a tiny man. He's a tiny man, and my personal take is that he's a vengeful, weak nerd that wants to play God with his wealth. And he's one of the most unscrupulous businessmen you can imagine. And there's nothing wrong with that if you want to do business. But I think once you get the wealth, man, start sharing some of that. He's put a lot of businesses out of business, and he's also bought up a lot of technologies and buried them. So back to George Soros. George Soros actually said, I admit that I've always harboured an exaggerated view of my self-importance, to put it bluntly, and I fancied myself as some sort of god. I carried some rather potent messianic messages and fantasies with me since childhood, which I felt I had to control, otherwise I might end up in a loony bin. And to me, he should be in the loony bin. The guy is a raving loony. He's as rich as fuck, and he can just pursue any dream that he wants, and he can buy up all the people that he likes. Now, those words that he said, they're the words of a madman. He's manipulated currencies by dumping £10 billion in sterling, and he's known as a man who broke the Bank of England, and also the Asian financial crisis minister, the Malaysian Prime Minister, I forget his name, Mahathir Mohamad. He accused Soros of bringing down the nation's currency through his scrupulous trading practices. And he financially supports many left-wing organisations. And although you may agree with him because of your personal views, we really could do with a human being with balanced perspectives. Because if they wield so much power and have so much control over global policy, then they need to sit more in the centre rather than pursuing their own personal dreams. And Soros also funds a climate policy initiative to address global warming, and the Ella Baker Centre, Green for All, the Centre for American Progress, and the Apollo Alliance, which was instrumental in getting $110 billion in green initiatives. Now, you may want to argue that there's nothing wrong there, but pursuing personal agendas with bad science isn't conducive to planetary care. So, Greta has suddenly disappeared from the public eye, and this could either be to protect her, which I doubt, because the initial abuse happened, or because we oppose their contrived assault on regular folk, they've just done a runner after a failed attempt to simply get us to support them in their ideas, and in their wake, they've just left groups of young people, Extinction Rebellion, running around the city screaming for change, to which nobody's any longer listening. They've lost a lot of support of people that I know who would support a cause like that typically. And for those of us who looked at the science and said, well, it's a tough choice here. We don't know if global warming is real or not. I think they've taken heed of that and they lost their way. And I'm not going to deny that there's an ecological crisis or that there's some sort of climate emergency, but I just want to say that there's a sophisticated PR campaign behind Greta Thunberg, and that it is that of a major faction of the global elite. Which is life. Anyway, moving on.
Heard of the OBG? Get involved.
And now this final story is a bit of a tough one, but I just want to say what the fuck's going on with us men. And it's not us. And we can't say we can't take the blame individually, but if we start supporting other men and telling men to behave differently, then they change also. So what I'm going to talk about here very quickly, there was two guys. There was Ferdinando Orlando, 25, and Lorenzo Constanzo, who's 26, who were caught laughing, high-fiving and hugging each other in what looks like a buddy victory dance on CCTV after they raped a woman in a nightclub. Now, they're on trial at the moment, and the woman that they attacked was obviously drunk. Now, as far as we should all be concerned, drunkenness is exactly that. It's the inability to function normally. And any act of sex, even if the woman appears to consent, should be taken as rape. If you did business transactions with anyone who was blind drunk, or you'd done anything with anyone, any type of contract, it would be null and void. Yet here we are, faced with a trial in which we're going to have to argue whether rape is consensual or not when a woman is drunk. And in this case, a man was seen escorting the woman to the ladies' toilets, where they abandoned her after the act, and then they both ran away, exiting the club immediately. And Alison Hunter, the QC prosecuting, said the young woman was not able to consent due to the amount of alcohol she consumed. And this is a fact. And when cross-examined, she admitted that the CCTV showed her grinding into these guys on the dance floor and that they were kissing passionately. But she maintained that she could not remember anything. And to me, this is a ridiculous attempt to paint her as promiscuous or to tarnish her character. And that's not important. In my opinion, even if she was naked and dancing with the men in the club previously, once they had to carry her to that room to have sex with her, then they raped her. And it should be considered an act of rape. And I hope they reach a conclusion quite quickly. So I just called my friend Lindsay, Lindsay K. Lindsay, I never get your name right. I just read it. Lindsay Calvert, to ask Lindsay, type your name in, would you, if you're here still? And I asked her just to punctuate this story for me, and she said to me, in order to consent to something, we must have the capacity to do so, and that is, we must be of an appropriate age, appropriate cognitive function. We must also have the opportunity to refuse consent. Only freely given, enthusiastic consent to sex, where there is freedom to decline, is valid, and anything else is rape. And this is my friend Lindsay K. McCarthy Calvert. Thank you, Lindsay, for punctuating that for me. And it's been a short show today. I've been talking at 100 miles an hour. I think I've got the key points in. And don't forget, send stuff in that you want me to cover. Don't just say, oh, talk about this. Give me a little content, send an image, a video, point me to a link to a website maybe, and I'll try and cover it. And on that note, I'm going to end this one here. You've been fantastic. Thank you very much for listening. I'm the OBG.
Sitting back since yesterday, it's a game don't wanna play.